Theo, welcome to the club. What's it like to sign for Kingsland Town?
Thank you. And no, I'm excited. I can't wait to get going and meet the fans and hit the ground running.
Obviously, your dad's been here for just under 3 weeks now. Was this move always on the cards, or a possibility, or has your dad spoken to you since he's been at the club? How did it come around?
No, it wasn't always on the cards. So I didn't even know until the day he was coming here that he was going to be here. So he kept that one quiet. I've been at haven't been getting the game time that I wanted, and the manager here's obviously decided that I can do a job that he feels needs doing, and that's what I'm here to do, and excited to get going and do it.
Have you actually trained with the rest of the squad yet, or is this is literally your first?
Yeah, first day, and
right. Okay. How excited are you to be here?
Yeah, really excited. I mean, there's going to be a job on hand to do. We need to stay up, and that's what I'm coming to do and help the team do.
And what do you think as a player and as an individual you can bring to the club and the team?
I'd say I'm an all-round midfielder, like getting up and down the pitch, getting stuck in, and hopefully chipping in with a few goals and assists as well.
You're a bit of a dead ball specialist, I've heard.
You could say that, yeah. I'd take that, yeah.
Have you actually met any of your teammates yet? Or,
I met the boys. Yeah, I met the boys this morning. I came down the other day and had a look round, and I like what I see.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think of the surroundings?
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, it seems like a nice area. Just looking forward to get going now.
So you say you Southampton. Is that where you actually live at Southampton?
Live in Southampton, yeah.
Right, okay. So travelling up there, you say you're going to be staying.
I'm going to be staying a few nights a week down here to make it easier. But I mean, the travelling, that's part of football, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you've had a spell at Gosport this season as well. That's a club Lynn, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, Lynn were playing against in the Southern League Premier, I think it was. Yeah. You got a few more games there, I believe, didn't you?
Yeah. I went on loan there for about just over a month, close to 2 months. Played a good few games and scored a few goals. Was hitting the ground running there, did well, and always want to test myself at a higher level, so that's why I've agreed to come here, and I feel I can do a good job here.
And I think you've been at Bristol Rose as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Was that with your dad as well?
That wasn't through my dad. That was completely me leaving Portsmouth, and Darryl Clark, the manager then, wasn't going to let me go anywhere else when he found out that I was out of contract. So.
Okay.
Not good timing. Have you played for him before, and what's he like?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Do you feel that there is a pressure there when you've got a father-son thing, or is that above football?
No, that's not something I've thought about. I've come here to do a job. Like I said, the job is to stay in the division, and that's what I want to help Kingsland do.
So you don't mind if you get a bit of V-rate from the side, it's a manager, not a father, would that be fair?
Well, it won't be the first time he's had a go at me, will it?
I think given that he's over in the corner of the room, maybe we'll leave him like that. Welcome anyway.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Tommy, it's this time of week again already. It's come around so quickly. How have things been going this week?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not sure what day it is, because obviously with the period we've got ahead of us, we're chopping and changing in terms of the training days. But it's gone fine. Again, on the back of the cup win, and then the draw that we know where we go on the 14th or 15th. It's been a good week. Been a really good training week. As I'm sitting here now, we're near enough a full bill of health. Other than Arthur, who came back to train on Monday. Unfortunately, he pulled up again on Tuesday. But Macca and Louis have done the full week, so that's good, because it means I'll be stronger behind me, which means we're stronger in front of me, which is good. So we're all good.
It's fair to say that football in general at the moment is dominated by COVID, as we've found out obviously with the Grimsby game being called off next week.
Mm-hmm.
How is that affecting you at all, or you know, in terms of your preparations, thinking you're going to Grimsby and now you're not, and you know, how difficult is it making your job?
Yeah, I mean, since the start of the whole pandemic thing, there's no silver bullet solution, isn't there? So what we've got to do, we've got to keep swerving and avoiding and doing the best we can. Unfortunately, one of the lads has tested positive. Brett won't be with us for the next week, 10 days or whatever it is, but he was negative on Monday and Tuesday for training. He didn't feel particularly well on Wednesday and tested at home, which is the right thing to do. He's done it perfectly correctly, and unfortunately he's tested positive, so Shooter won't be with us for the next week or 10 days, but he wasn't in contact with any of the players after he'd left here, so we're all good apart from him. The answer to your question is there's no, like I said, there's no silver bullet answer. It's one of them. You've got to roll with the punches. When I saw that Grimsby's game on Tuesday was off, it didn't take rocket scientists to realise it's likely that the next one and the next one's going to be off. So, yeah, if I'm being honest with you, it's a bit of relief actually. I don't think 3 games in 6 days is good for anybody at any level. So the fact we're playing now Sunday and then again the following Saturday is probably it's welcome actually.
You've had a few more sessions with the players this week. Have you had more time now to get your ideas and put the mark on the squad, do you think?
Well, I'm getting to know them more, which is good. I think the touch time we have, not just on the grass, but around the football club when we're eating and when we're socialising together, I'm getting to know them a bit more as characters, which is really important for me. So there's things shaping in my mind that they don't know about, but I do. So when January comes, I've got one or two things now I think I'll push on to try and do, because I've made my mind up with one or two of the lads. They might have made their mind up with me as well, mind. So I might not get me on all my own way with that, but yeah, it's been good. I've been very I haven't tried to change the world since I've come in. I've just tried to put in some positive thinking and some competitive thoughts into their mind. They're very good when they've got the ball, this lot, but they're not very good when they haven't got the ball. Now, unfortunately for them, there is another team on the pitch and they're going to have the ball, so we have to be better when we haven't got it, and that's my message to them. That's what I do. That's my theme through all the training sessions. So with a bit of luck, if I'm any good as a coach, we'll start getting better when we haven't got the ball.
Yeah. Obviously you've I think it is your first signing, isn't it? Theo is your first signing. Just trying to think back.
Yeah.
The lad, Cohen Brown came in, didn't he? But
he was already agreed before I came in,
right?
And I thought it would have been unfair to the lad and unfair to his club, who I've got a really good relationship, Bournemouth. That I think I've never taken a player from Bournemouth that I've been disappointed with wherever I've been as a youngster, and this is no different. I think he's proved already to me the 2 times he's been on the pitch, he's actually come off with blood somewhere in his face, and that's all. And that might sound weird, but that's always an indication of whether they've got something about them, and he has. He's got more than his ability's there to see. Everybody can see that, but he's got a little bit of fibre about the lad. So I'm pleased and that we did take him, but I didn't agree that deal.
Right.
So, but yeah. So Theo's. But let me tell you this: I've done it in spite of him being my son, not because he's my son. That is an insignificant thing for me. I think he's got qualities that we need in the team, and he hasn't got certain things that we already have in the team. So he will be a good dovetail fit for what I see us playing like.
You touched on about you know you've got to work harder when you haven't got the ball. Is that one of the things Theo can bring to the team?
He's a nasty little bugger, yeah. Right. So from that point of view, he's got a bit of steel about him. He gets that off his mum. But yeah, so yeah, he's got attributes that I don't see in the group. So will he play 90 minutes every game? Not yet. No, it's a bit like Josh Barrett. It's one of them. The ability and the thought process is there, but he'll need introduction and feeding into the group. But I'm happy with what I've got. I think he's a good addition for us.
Are you hoping to bring anyone else in the next week? Are you any closer?
I've got a lad who's trained all week on his own expense. I just have to say that. To be fair to him, he's come down from the northeast and he's done very, very well. I'm hopefully going to have a chat with him after training and encourage him to stay a little bit longer and possibly be a part of the game on Saturday because I think he's good enough to do it. But that's probably for the next chat we have.
Okay, yeah. Can you say what position he is? Or
he's a left-sider, so he's left-footed. We haven't got a lot of that. We've got Pierce, and we've got Tyler, who's still a good couple of weeks from being back to training, never mind back to playing. So we're light on the left side. Don't get me wrong, Monash has done really, really well in the first 2 games that he played, and I was happy with the way we played in terms of what I wanted from Pierce as a left wing back on Saturday. But ideally, I want somebody who's more tuned to being up and down the wide area rather than just being a left-footed player.
So now you've just got the small matter of Notts County on Boxing Day.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, look, we've got to play everybody still. So they are, in my opinion, the biggest club in the division. They'll be very well supported. So I hope the Lynn faithful come out and go toe to toe with the opposition in terms of numbers, because I don't want a club to come here and take over our patch, as it were, and we're going to be wearing their colours, so that's going to really get up their noses. So we need the Kings Lynn faithful to get to the walks on Saturday on Sunday and support us and show them we are a proper football club.
There have been a few times this season, obviously before your time, where we've had teams, clubs who've come in and they have actually taken over the walks. Obviously that's something you don't want as a manager, is it? Because
absolutely not. I mean,
you're losing that home advantage, aren't you?
Of course, yeah. I mean, listen, we've got to make this, touch wood. We've done very well at home in the 2 games that we've played. We've managed to win them both. I want to continue that trend, and I want our fans to be part of that, to be honest with you. If people have stayed away for whatever reason, like I said to you last time I spoke to you, it's Christmas, probably had a bit too much pudding and a bit too much port, come out, get your pipes moving and get behind us, because I think it'd be a great occasion either way, but I'd rather it be heavily swayed in blue and yellow as opposed to black and white.
I mean, you can't do much more than win your first 2 home games either, can you?
No, yeah. Like I've said it to you before, fans are fans. They'll never support another club, but they need to come back to support this club. Anybody can be a fan when you're winning the Southern League or the Conference South or whatever, or the Conference North, whatever it was to get here. But it's through these times that you need them to get behind you, because we've got, 23 games left, I think. We need them behind us every time we can, and at home, more importantly, I know what it's like to travel from in and out of here, so we need them to come to the home games.
And the big question is, how do you beat Notts County?
We score more goals than them. Simple. But it's like any game. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter how much money you've got in your pocket, it's how you play football. So there might be better paid players, there might be more experienced players, but there are 11 blokes against 11 blokes. They've all got 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 ears. If they've got 3 somewhere, then we have to worry, but they haven't. So I remember one of my first managers ever saying to me, look at them in the tunnel, if he doesn't look any different to you, you know you can beat him on the day. So like I said, anybody can beat anybody in one game.
And you must be confident going into the game, having won your first two games, although you know the task ahead of you, because they are regarded as, like you say, one of the big boys in the division.
Well, it's like Man City and Liverpool. Everybody expects them to win every week, but they do lose. At the end of the day, it's up to us to expose a chink in their armoury. We know how they play. We know what they're good at. We're going to have to be. You have to be uncomfortable. Sorry, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable sometimes. And I think these lads haven't ever experienced that. So it's a strange thing to say to you, but it's true. At times, there's things that we're not particularly good at, we have to get better at. And this will probably be the first game, I think, that I'm going into thinking this is going to be the game where I can see if we can handle them having the ball more than us, possibly. Because in Halifax, despite losing 2-0, I was really pleased with the way we went toe-to-toe with them. We had more than half, again, more shots than them at goal. So we had the opportunities. We could have won the game at Halifax. This one is ominous because it's round the corner, but listen, if you worry about who you're playing, you start 1-0 down, don't you? So I'm not worried about that.
Okay. You mentioned Minash Sunday. Is he fit?
Yeah, he's back. He trained Monday without the balls, but he trained on Tuesday full contact, and I've just seen him there. He says he's fine, so yeah, he'll be back available for selection.
You mentioned Louis and Macca as well. They're trained, but are they fit to start?
They look fit. Obviously they'll be again, it's that people don't realise when you've missed a couple of 3 weeks, it'll take you another couple of 3 weeks to get back to 90 minute. But I would say they're both available for selection. Yeah.
Not trying to preempt anything, but we've seen Ethan Coleman play more of a defensive role. I mean, he's sort of normally a midfielder. I know some managers do like him in the back line, but presumably that's another option for you now. If you've got two more defenders, very good footballers available, probably in his more natural.
Do you want to pick the team?
Yeah, I'd love to, but I wouldn't be.
Well, you know what? It's nice to know that I've got that option, as you said. So at the minute he's part of the back. He's been part of the back three in the 3 games that we've played. Could have seen playing in midfield for me, absolutely. In fact, that's Brett's not around. Probably it adds to that. But yeah, we'll have a chat once I've finished here, and we'll come to the conclusion that we all think is right. Although I'll be making that decision. But yeah, the good thing is Ethan missed the first couple of days training this week because he had a sore groin. But he's all right, so he's available again. Yeah.
Just do want to make it clear about your son. You've never managed him before. I mean, you said you signed him.
I used to change his nappy and things like that. So I managed him when he was a little but I've never managed him in football.
No, so the follow-up question to that is that presumably he's not your son when he's on the pitch.
Absolutely, he'll curry no favour in terms of that. He will be Theo and I will be his gaffer. It's not, oh dad this and son that. It's not that. Like I said, I wouldn't have brought him here if I didn't think he'd add to the group. He's got to show what he does to prove me right. So, and I get it. Listen, I brought him here in spite of him being my son, not because he's my son. And I think that needs to be aired, because it's going to be one of those. It's not that at all. I would never have done that. I'd be silly to do that. Mm-hmm.
The one slightly left field question I meant to ask you the other week. Generally, it seems you've got one goalkeeper, Paul. Is it the thought that...
We train with 3. We have 3. We train with 3.
I didn't know that. That was sort of one of the questions. Have you got?
No. Well, we've got a couple of lads in the academy who train with us every day. So Paul has worked with them lads. I think the answer to your question is, if he got injured, are they ready? Probably not. But then that's one position you do get a little bit licensed to go and get an emergency guy in, and I've got plenty of contacts that if that happened, touch wood it doesn't, because there's nothing wrong with Paul, and I'd be able to move quickly in that area. Going forward, would I like to? Yeah. Do I? When I've been manager, I tend not to pick a goalie on the bench anyway. I think it's a waste of time. You never sub them, do you? In touch wood again, if they get injured, you miss them for the rest of that game, then you get somebody else in the next game. So some managers would always opt for a goalkeeper on the bench, but I'm not one of them really.
Okay, it was just something that came up the other week, and just not trying to pick the team. It would be awful if I did.
Some would say mine is, so don't worry.
Can I just ask you one more about the academy lads? Obviously, you've signed 5 on. How are they blended into the training and the squad? Again,
that was done the day before I came into the role, but I was happy to take the recommendations of the people who work with the academy and the chairman, and they were deemed the best 5 that would have been capable of acclimatising to men's football. When they've trained with me, they haven't made the session any less better than I would want it to be, so they've done themselves very good in that respect. But because the lads, obviously the addition, and then I've had a trialist all week and 3 lads come back, I didn't need their faces around this week. But they did train Monday with us, and I'm sure they'll train at some stage further on. But at least now I know I can trust. Unfortunately for young Tyler, who came on Saturday, he had his booster jab, and then he was whacked out. He couldn't come. He couldn't come in the day after, the poor lad. So might be young and fit, but he couldn't handle the booster. So he was ill for a day. But listen, when I said to him before he went on the pitch, I said, look, whatever happens when you go on the pitch, it's not your fault. Don't worry. You can't make a mistake in my eyes yet. They're young. They're naive. They haven't played men's football, and I've got to be mindful of the fact that I can't expect, or I wouldn't put a responsibility on their shoulders at their age, because I know this is a proper big boys league. It's not one for chucking kids in, and if they're not ready, they could be hurt, not just physically, but they could hurt them mentally as well. So I've got to look after them.
Okay.
But what I want to know, what I want people to know is there's definitely a pathway through this football club. I'll not take an 18 or 17-year-old from Ipswich, Norwich, Cambridge, Peterborough, anywhere. You know, if we've got one who I can turn around and got Tyler Knowles who can come on, it'll be Tyler Knowles.